Today is payday, so let's budget my biweekly paycheck using the cashless budgeting system. Let's get right into it. So I have my budget workbook right here in front of me and my spreadsheet over there. We're not going to be focusing on the spreadsheet this time around because your girl still do not know what her real paycheck is, because I did do a few changes about 2 pay periods ago, but I'm not able to actually view my paycheck stub. Something is going on with the system where I'm not able to view my paycheck stub. So I just went off based on the retirement and investing from the previous paycheck. So how I like to budget, I like to write everything down in my budget workbook. Once I write everything in my budget workbook, then I come over to my spreadsheet and input that information inside. So I always start off with what I think my paycheck is going to be. So at the beginning of the month, I'm always budgeting out my paychecks at the lowest amount that my paycheck has ever been, which is $1,900. Now, like I said before, I'm not exactly sure what my real numbers is gonna be this time around. I just input the information from the previous paycheck on the retirement and investing. But my paycheck was actually $2,091.65, including the retirement and investing. Because right now I'm not able to see exactly what was deposited into those accounts. I can't necessarily say how much the paycheck is because I have retirement coming out, investing coming out, then money deposited into my checking account. Now I can see what was actually deposited into my checking account, but I also like to include those numbers so you guys can see that your girl is putting money aside for retirement. She is putting money aside for investing and all of the important stuff before I get into spending the money on. Now, what I like to do is a paycheck budget method when it comes to my paycheck. So at the beginning of the month, I do a monthly budget. That allows me to see overall how much money am I budgeting in each one of my categories. And as I get paid, I break those paychecks down into paycheck budgets. So what I do here is I go to my monthly calendar portion and I look and see what is going to be taken care of with this paycheck. So that's the reason for the different colors. So purple is what was taken care of with the last paycheck in August. Blue is what was taken care of with the paycheck on September 12th. And pink is what is going to be taken care of with September 26th paycheck. So basically it's going to take care of all of these bills and expenses until the end of September, all the way up until October. Your girl has already done her October one as well, because I like to be ahead of the game. I like to see what's coming up, what need to be taken care of, and that type of stuff. So you always want to be at least a couple of weeks ahead of the game so you won't get any surprises. And if you need to go and cut some things, you'll have enough time to do so. So I have retirement. I'm going to be budgeting $112.46. That's not going to be the real numbers. Like I said before, I just used that number from the previous paycheck because I'm not exactly sure how much retirement is going to be taken out of my paycheck, being that I did just get a raise and all of these stuff is going on with our pay. And that might be the reason why everything is not updated. Investing $116.32, the same as the previous paycheck. I'm just rolling that number over because I don't know what 5% of my paycheck is actually going to be just yet. Now, I've also started something new this month. I opened up a Roth IRA, and thank you guys so much for responding to that previous video where you told me that you just don't put your money in your Roth IRA. You got to put it into ETFs. You got to put it into money market account, something like that. I gotta go back and look at all of the comments or whatever, but you just don't put the money in the Roth IRA and let it sit there. You gotta invest that money into stocks, into ETFs and that type of stuff. So I gotta go and see which funds, mutual funds, that's what you said. I gotta go and see what I should be investing in and that type of stuff. I gotta learn more about that. In my mind, I'm kind of like, you know what, let me just take the money out of the Roth IRA and put it in a high yield savings account, because I'm familiar with that and I can actually see that growing, because there's only one thing I have to do. Unlike with this Roth IRA, it's like you still gotta do and get into this investing stuff, and I'm not really knowledgeable on the investing or stocks and mutual funds and ETFs. I'm not really knowledgeable about that type of stuff, but I know people talk about it. I know that's how people, build generational wealth. I know that's how people are able to retire and live off their Roth IRA, that type of stuff. So I do want to make sure that I am doing all of the important things, because I'm in my 40s. I got to be thinking about this type of stuff. I'm not trying to work for the rest of my life. I'm not trying to just be living off Social Security either. So I want to have some money left over in retirement. I want to have money that's, paid out to me, when I retire and that type of stuff. Now, I also have aftercare fees that's going to be due 2 times within this paycheck. So I got to take care of that. That's going to be $121 a piece. It used to be just $120 that I could just pay. Now they charging you $1 just to swipe your card on there. And I'm not going to sign up for no automatic draft with that. Usually I put everything on automatic draft, but because my son be out of school, like fall breaks and stuff like that, the aftercare don't go in the system and take that out. And I don't want my card charged for a week that I'm not participating. My son is not there. So I just pay manually every single Friday. Also putting gas on here. Now for the month of September, I've been budgeting $50 a week for gas. I think I'm gonna have to bump that up, being that I am in this red car and I'm going back and forth seeing my dad and just doing all of the things with physical therapy. I got so many physical therapy appointments in the month of October coming up, so I'm gonna have to up that budget a little bit. But I put away, $50 this pay period for gas. I also have short-term disability coming out. They got to be taken care of with this paycheck. That's $82.44. And then we move on to the bills and expenses for the beginning of October, because that was pretty much it. Now we get into the big boy bills, because mortgage and utilities actually comes out on the 1st. What I do is I switch that money into a joint account that I share with someone. So $17.50 on the mortgage and insurance. Life insurance, that's going to be $13. And then another aftercare, which I already mentioned, which gives me a total that need to be taken care of with this paycheck of $2,466.22. So that's all of the bills and expenses that got to be taken care of with this paycheck. And when I take my income, I forgot to do the income. So my paycheck was $2,091.65 if we include the retirement and investing amounts that my previous checks was. And I actually rolled over $865.16, which brought me to a grand total of $2,956.81 for this particular paycheck. So when I take my income of $2,956.81 and subtract my bills and expenses of $2,466.22, I'm left with $490.59. And I'm actually gonna just leave it there. Usually I will go ahead and do a zero-based budget, but there's so much things going on with me just going over my budget, eating up the budget, that type of things, because I am going to see my dad, not making it home in time enough to cook something or don't feel like cooking anything, going over my gas budget because I'm doing all of this traveling, picking up my son, going to see my dad, going to physical therapy. I got so many doctor's appointments in the month, not doctor's appointment, physical therapy appointments in the month of October. So I kind of want to leave this money flexible. And speaking of physical therapy and doctor's appointment and stuff like that, I just got an email from Emory when I went to the emergency room, and they're saying that I owe a balance of $1,433 or $43, something like that. So I'm gonna contact my insurance company on Monday, and I hope I don't have to pay anything. And if I do, hopefully it's not that much. It seems as if my insurance, which is Cigna, they only covered $900 of my emergency room visit, and I did not know emergency room visit is over $2,000. $2,500 for me to just go to the ER. What they did when I got to the ER, I don't know if you know or if you've been looking at my previous videos, but your girl has been having lower back pain. I don't know if it's been coming from work, because I'm a mail carrier and I sit down for extended periods of time. I come home, I'm working on my content, I'm sitting down. Everything is just like I'm sitting down, or if it's because I've gain weight. Like last year I was 115 pounds and now I'm 140. So I done gained about 25 pounds since last year, and I don't know if my back is just like, girl, you don't put all this weight on us, we can't hold all this weight, and it's pressing down on a nerve, which is causing me to have lower back pain. But the emergency room lady said that she think that it's just a pinched nerve and sciatica. So I've been seeing a physical therapist, which has really been working. I'm not even gonna lie. So I would hate to have to stop physical therapy because I don't want to run this bill up even more, because I don't know, like right now I'm not paying anything towards physical therapy, and I don't know if they're gonna send me a bill later on like how they doing this. I don't want that to happen, so I'm gonna contact them on Monday to figure all of this stuff out, because I might have to just cancel it and just do me some stretches at home, and just, you know, whatever we have been going over, because I've only went about 2 times so far. I'm just going to take the information that I learned at that place and just utilize it at home, or just search it on YouTube, because, you know, YouTube is where you can find out anything and everything. So I can search up stretches for lower back at home and just do my stuff at home for the free ski. But yeah, so $490.59 it will be remaining from this paycheck. Not going to use it unless I go over with gas, go over on food, or just needed to possibly pay this emergency room bill. So y'all continue on praying for me. That's all for this video. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.